Well, everyone, the iPhone 15 Pro has just officially came out, so let's go and compare it against the Samsung Galaxy S23 and see which specific phone is better one for you. Now, I cannot get these brightnesses to, calm down and be the same on both phones, which is very strange. Now, I will be honest, the iPhone 15 Pro definitely is going to be a really great phone, but the Galaxy S23 has a lot of what what that iPhone 15 Pro is supposed to already have, which is pretty insane. So if you want to pick up some phones I would recommend buying this year, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there. You can help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, different designs for sure, but Apple did, I think, make a bigger design change this year than what the Samsung Galaxy S23 brought over the Galaxy S22. Now, the S23 on the front has a very good 1080p display. It's dynamic AMOLED 120 Hz, and I'm reading this from the spec sheet, 6.1 inches. So it's been, when this phone came out, I compared this phone against every phone, even for the Galaxy S9, I think I compared it to, even the S8 I compared it to. And this is a great, phone for sure. There were slight things that I kind of was a little bit iffy on the Galaxy S22 about, specifically with the battery life. The S23 seemed to fix a lot of it. And I feel like with the S23's design, still very good, but I feel like with the iPhone 15 Pro, this was a slight change coming from the 14 Pro, and I feel like Apple did more this year design-wise on the 15 Pro than coming from the 14 Pro than what the S23 was from the S22, if that makes sense. But on the 15 Pro, 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display, 120 Hz, slightly higher resolution, and I feel like this one you're getting the dynamic island. I can't even say it right. The S23 has that hole punch display. Some slight differences, but I feel like I like the display on the S23 more than I like it on the Galaxy S20, than I like it on the 15 Pro. Some slight differences on the design as well on the sides. You can kind of see that between both. They're a little bit different. You're getting the stainless steel, like a reflective side. The 15 Pro is not reflective, which I actually prefer this way. The action button right here too, which is such a small upgrade I keep forgetting to talk about, to be honest. The biggest upgrade though is probably on the bottom. You're now getting USB-C on the 15 Pro, which is the first time we've seen USB-C on an iPhone. The Galaxy S23 has had it for years. So I will be honest, it's great that the iPhones have it, but not only has the Samsung Galaxies had it since the Galaxy S8, but Samsung does more with their USB-C port than iPhones. It's just a fact. They have Samsung DeX and a plethora of other features to USB-C. Apple needs to catch up. This is where Apple can go and start making some big changes, but so far Samsung definitely wins from that perspective. Both have frosted glass backs. I will say though, again, even the curvature on the iPhone 15 Pro feels pretty good, and that's something I like. I do like triple camera setups. I'm a fan of them, so I'm curious to see how they both kind of compare in my full camera comparison. You have wireless charging on both, MagSafe capability here, IP certification on both, the whole 9 yards. Both iPhones are dominant, or both phones are dominant in their spaces, which is really nice. But the Galaxy S23 is substantially cheaper now than the iPhone 15 Pro. So keep that in mind. You're definitely getting a cheaper phone on the S23 brand new, even especially in the used market, than the 15 Pro. So keep that in mind. But in terms of that kind of covers it up on the outside. My honest opinions on the outside, some are rough, but that's kind of how I feel. Now, in terms of the software longevity, you are basically getting a longer lasting phone from the iPhone 15 Pro, unless Samsung goes through and changes something drastic. As of this point, you are probably getting a longer lasting phone from the iPhone 15 Pro without a doubt than the Samsung Galaxy S23. That's just what happens every single year, and it's just not really a surprise to me. You're basically getting a longer lasting phone from something like the Galaxy S23 from the iPhone. You're basically getting a longer lasting phone from the 15 Pro than the Galaxy S23, which is not a bad thing. That's kind of what we see year after year after year. So that's just kind of like another minor thing to keep in mind. But the 15 Pro is definitely going to be the longer lasting one, but this one's still going to last a long time too. Don't get it twisted, the 15 Pro is still going to be a long lasting phone as well, but the Galaxy S23 is still going to be long lasting too. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between, I don't even know what I was saying there. The 15 Pro has that Apple A17 Pro chip inside of it, which is a big deal, first Pro chip we've seen inside of an iPhone, with 8 gigabytes of RAM. This is the first time in a long time that we've had the same amount of RAM inside of an iPhone as opposed to the Samsung side. Usually the Samsungs have more RAM. The Galaxy S23 has that Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chipset inside of it with 8 gigs of RAM as well. So let's go and see which one's the faster one between both. Okay, there we go. Let's go and hop out of the apps in the background. This one is cleared out right here. Let's go keep going, keep going, keep going. This one is cleared out right here. So let's get into it. Phone calls, 3, 2, 1. Okay, pretty much the same. Camera, 3, 2, 1. I don't know why this keeps happening. It's so annoying. Let's go take a photo. Both are in night mode. And the night mode that was faster was the S23, slightly The iPhone 14 Pro is still very, very good, or 15 Pro is still very good. Opening up these two, basically the same thing. Hopping out of here, let's go into their app stores. 3, 2, 1. I think my table is being weird. Oh, it is being weird. It's like kind of loose. This one doesn't have Wi-Fi. I kind of forgot about it. Now we do have to open our game launcher on this phone in order to actually. This literally pops up every single time. Now let's go to Temple Run 2. 3, 2, 1. Now these are not massive intensive games. I will be doing lots of gaming videos on my third channel, just performing games like Genshin Impact, Call of Duty Mobile, Roblox. If you're interested, you can check out my third channel. I do it basically for every single phone. So if you're a follower of the channel, you basically know. Basically the same exact thing here, not that big of a difference. Even when I click play though, the S23 was slightly faster, but I don't think that's going to change too much. One thing I actually love about my Samsung though is that I have the ability of installing third-party applications, and since this one has that Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chipset, very, very good stuff I like on there. Snake vs. Blocks, 3, 2, 1. Okay, iPhone 15 Pro was slightly faster. I realize I have a lot of energy right now because this is the first time I drank coffee in like 3 weeks, and I'm like kind of amped right now, to be honest. Hopping out of here, let's go and get into another application. I would try Genshin Impact. We can try it. 3, 2, 1. I haven't downloaded the game on this phone yet, so I don't know how it's going to perform. As you can see, it's my first time opening it. But I am curious to see first time opening up versus like 100th time opening up here. And actually, the 15 Pro is actually doing kind of good, to be honest. And this one is actually faster, but it was only slightly faster. You can see this one had, timed out to a network error. But I feel like also that was actually pretty fast on both, which is very surprising. Getting into another application, we can just try like Thank You. 3, 2, 1. I think I'm like the only person who still plays this game, to be honest. S23 was faster. iPhone 15 Pro slightly slower, but not a massive difference. So overall, what I'll definitely tell you is both phones are great performing devices. I would probably say that the S23 is faster in some ways. The 15 Pro is faster in other ways. Very slight differences. You're probably going to be getting the same type of performing phone, to be honest, but the 15 Pro might be a little bit feeling like it's faster, but the S23 is probably faster in other ways. So in terms of the camera side of things, you're definitely getting, I would say, I'm a fan of Samsung cameras. I feel like the S23's camera is very good this year. The iPhone 15 Pro's camera is basically the 14 Pro's as far as I can tell. Triple camera setups on the back, wide, ultra-wide telephoto lenses, varying megapixel counts, but the big thing to keep in mind, the iPhone 15 Pro can film in 4K at 60 on the front and the back. The Samsung Galaxy S23 can film in 4K at 60 on the front and the back, but it also can film in 8K video on the back of this phone, which is amazing. Very cool feature. I'm very, very happy of the iPhone, of the iPhone 15 Pro, but also more so the Galaxy S23. You're just also getting more features inside the Samsung camera. I say that every single year. I feel like Apple needs to go through and improve this camera. You're getting 30x zoom on this phone as well, which is cool. Most of it's basically all of it's digital, but it's still nice to have that type of feature. You're getting portrait mode, portrait video. You're getting a lot more options under this specific panel as well. Pro video options as well. The 15 Pro, I feel like Apple brings some hardware changes here and there like every other year, but they're not improving the software. They need to go through and change up this software and make things feel better. You're basically getting twice the amount of zoom on the S23 than on the iPhone 15 Pro. Like 15x zoom, like the Galaxy S10 had like probably the same amount. Like I feel like Apple needs to pick up the pace and give us more capability there. Video mode, cinematic mode, slow mode, lots of cool stuff, portrait video, like lots of cool stuff I'm very happy about. But I still feel like the Galaxy S23's camera is probably overall the better one. Now, I probably will tell you, if you have a Galaxy S23, I feel like there are lots of advantages of owning that phone over the iPhone 15 Pro. The 15 Pro, I feel like it's a great phone, but it really wasn't that ginormous of an upgrade coming from the previous generation. You're getting USB-C and like a better feeling body, but apparently this phone isn't even as durable as the previous generation, and it's very easy to break this phone. So those things kind of scare me. The 14 Pro may be a better choice for some people. The Galaxy S23, even though this phone was not a massive upgrade coming from the previous generation, I feel like Apple did a really good job. I feel like Samsung did a good job here. Dynamic AMOLED display, hole punch, Samsung DeX, reverse wireless charging, like lots of flagship features here. The 15 Pro, like it's great, $1,000 phone. This one's like $600 something now. So if you want to save like 40% of your money and get a probably better phone in some areas, this one might be a better choice. But that's kind of how I feel about both phones, to be honest, as of right now. Neither phones are perfect, but maybe the S23 is better for some people out there. So that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.